How's that for music of the new year? Kathy Beatty here with Divorce Support Anonymous Friday Night Live. I am so excited about starting this new year with you for many reasons. One in particular is that I have a guest tonight, someone who's going to talk to you about financial strategies, and I am so excited about that. Before we get started, before I introduce and bring him in, I do want to just mention a couple of things. First of all, we just finished the Breakthrough Christmas, How to Have a Breakthrough Christmas. If you missed that, you are welcome to go to my YouTube channel and look all 31 days up. Those are posted there if you want to review one you've watched before or want to watch it for the first time. It is there for your review. Also, I want to talk to you about a single mom's virtual camp that's going to be January 18th to the 22nd. We will meet as single moms Monday through Friday in the morning, 8 o'clock for about 30 minutes, and then in the evening, 8 o'clock for about an hour and 15 minutes. Connect with me, get your registration form. I don't want you to miss this because we are going to have women from all across the country, who knows, maybe even from some other countries, joining us to share time and just share information, learn some things, and just be together because we need that. We need connection right now. For the men, we'll do something different, but this is for the ladies. So with that, we want to talk tonight about finances. And the reason why I asked this gentleman to join us, who I'm just about to introduce, is because many of you will be starting this new year being totally responsible for your finances for the very first time. And there are things that you don't know that you don't know. So we want to give you some strategies tonight to help you because knowledge is power. And you may say, oh, it's a little overwhelming. I don't want to know. Well, it's 2021 and you need to know. So as you expose yourself to good information, you'll pick up bits and pieces and tips that is going to help you get through your first financial year on your own. Or if you have been doing your own finances, but find it a little intimidating, we're going to do some tips tonight to help you with that. Now, let me introduce my guest. Peter Letzman is an attorney in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He also has led the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace Course for many years. I think he's done 40 or 50 of them at this point, has done a lot, worked with a lot of individuals in their finances, and also is a mediator like myself. And I always appreciate his wisdom. So welcome, Peter.
Good evening, Kathy. Thanks for having me.
It's great of you to join us tonight to give us your time and your expertise. So before we start with the 5 different strategies and tips, is there anything in general that you want to encourage people who maybe have not had to handle all of their finances on their own?
Yes, take it slow and easy. And remember the old adage about the elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One step at a time. So whatever problem, whatever issue you have, try and break it down into little pieces. Take it one bite at the time, and you'll be able to devour that financial elephant.
I love that. And you know what? I am going to also put up here, if you have a question, you can put a comment into the comment section, and I'm sure that Peter would love to respond to that. I didn't ask you that ahead of time, but
I would love to respond to the question. I have no place to go tonight, so I'm very open for questions.
That's awesome. So tell me, how many classes have you taught with Dave Ramsey at this point? Do you have?
I've been doing it for about 10 years now, and I do 4 classes a year. And, we do it at one of the local churches. at a very minimum cost. And I do get a lot of satisfaction. I get people who totally do not know anything about finances for whatever reason. The husband or the spouse took care of it all. It's not always the husband takes care of it. Sometimes it's the wife. Maybe they just haven't gotten the interest. A lot of people don't like figures, numbers, and so on. And to have them become somewhat aware, to get their arms around their finances, and to come back a couple years later to say, hey, I don't have any more credit card debt. I've refinanced the house at a significantly lower mortgage rate. I feel comfortable with the insurance that I have. Or the one I like best is I've got rid of my student debt.
Yes. Fabulous.
So we've gone through a lot of it, and I'd really like to kind of get into sharing some of the things for these folks who are starting their new year. And when I say new year, it's not only your calendar new year, maybe it's the new year of your life that you're starting. You're starting sort of from ground zero, and let's build up from ground zero. So item number one that I have on my list of things, and I thought about this, is how would I start this? And the first thing I would do, taxes are a big deal. So if you don't pay the taxes, it becomes a bigger deal. So that I thought would be maybe the starting place for us. And the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, the United States Government Internal Revenue Service, has a very nice website. It's relatively user-friendly, and it provides for a lot of good things. Information. It's a trove of information that you would want to know about the federal income tax. Now, remember, you also have state income tax here in Michigan, or in your state. Most states have it. And you may even have a local income tax. Here in Grand Rapids, we do. Chicago, Detroit, New York all have city income tax. So be alert. We're addressing the federal income tax only. But usually the local tax forms follow the federal forms. If you attack and conquer the federal forms, then the local forms just kind of follow suit.
So is the federal forms, are they the most frightening? The most complex?
Yes, the federal forms, because they're most intimidating. You've heard all the stories about the federal government seizing your house, your car, your child, your bank account, all of those things that the tax man does. But you should not be overwhelmed. I think that I have found that the feds are pretty reasonable. If you approach them politely, civilly, don't try and pull a scam on them. If you're sincere, if you're learning, they're willing to work with you. The difficulty now, though, is the telephone service is a little hit and miss. They don't have people available as they had in the past. You can't just walk into the local IRS office and say, help me. That's why I said the website that the IRS has, take a look at that. And the benefits of that you will find on the website, not only all of the information, lots of questions, basic questions that you would want to ask about your federal taxes, but they have free electronic filing up to, I think, $70,000 or $80,000. So if you're in the lower bracket, you don't have to go to TurboTax. You don't have to go to whoever else it is to get that. And they have that electronic filing. Don't be afraid of the electronic filing, because it's really a fill-in-the-blank type of procedure. What is your name? You can handle that. What is your address? You can handle that. What is your social security number? You can handle that. Who are the dependents? You can, and it goes down the list like that. Where's your domicile? And it's pretty straightforward.
Hey, Peter, let me ask, can you fill that out and print it and maybe take that to a tax person if you wanted to?
Of course you can take it. I don't know I'm sure you can print it and not file it. And if you're insecure, or if you want to double check on it, it doesn't hurt to double check. Yes, you could do that.
But and speak to us too, and I'm sure you're going to say this, but about don't wait till the last minute.
Well, you know, you're stealing my thunder and you're taking me out of my outline.
Sorry.
I will get to the filing, the appropriate when to file in a moment. That's point number 3, Kathy. If you take a look at your outline,
Sorry.
okay, I don't mind. The other benefit is that you have a quicker, you can file the returns much faster. You can, you know, it's an overnight. You don't have to mail it. You don't have to stand in line to mail that. And if you get a return, if there's a tax return, if you've overpaid the taxes, that's almost, I won't say instantaneous, but it's a matter of days rather than a matter of weeks, because most of the stuff for people like you and I, this is all computerized, and they spit out the checks, very quickly. You just had the experience last week where they said that those what do you call it, stimulus checks, they pressed the button and they were in a bank account within 24 hours. So the government, when they want to work, they work slowly, but when they want to work, they can work fast. And so it can be a direct deposit to your account so that the check doesn't get lost in the mail. And like in my neighborhood, I want to watch my mailbox. I don't know who opens my mailbox or so on. I like when it deals with money, it's direct deposit. So item number 1 is go to that IRS website, utilize that as much as you possibly can. Item number 2 that I have, item number 2.
Item number 2, let me find it. Okay, here we are.
Take a financial inventory, and that's a complete list of everything that you own. And the question is, how small? Do you list all the shoes that you own? Maybe not. Do you list the salt and pepper shaker? Maybe not. But for sure, you list the house or houses. You list the cars or the cars, the recreational vehicles, those things that have some significant value. For example, if you have a $10,000, $5,000 computer, that has some value. The cameras that you may have. Even nowadays, the electronics, the telephone is maybe worth $1,000. List that. Yeah. Your jewelry that you may have that we sometimes forget. Include the gold coins or the precious metals that you may have stashed under your bed. The other thing is also guns. I find that guns are worth some pretty big bucks. A handgun may be worth $500 and upwards. So take a look at that. So list all of the assets you have, and under those assets also I'm talking about physical things. Talk about the intangible things, the retirement accounts, the savings accounts, anything, any bonds, anything like that has value to you. So take an inventory of things that you have. And Kathy will have a checklist, and she will also have not only a checklist, but what I call a balance sheet, where you list your assets that I've just gone through, and then you list your liabilities. Those are the things on the other side of your balance sheet, are the things that you owe. To whom do you owe? The bank for the mortgage of your house, perhaps the car loan or car loans that you have, your credit card debt, your student loan.
So as you're rattling this off, and I envision some of you are listening thinking, oh, how do I get a handle on all of this? Just start somewhere. Start with your valuables, or start somewhere. Just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a work in progress, right?
Correct. And as a matter of fact, on number 4, I say is gather the important documents that kind of a place to think, what are the important documents that you have? Insurance policy, obviously important document. Mm-hmm. Bank account statements, retirement statements, last year's tax, those are all important, and you can kind of start with that. But again, remember the one bite of the elephant at a time. Mm-hmm. And again, I would suggest to you, take a look at Kathy's website. I'm sure she's going to have a balance sheet, a sample balance sheet that you can use as a checklist, so that you can
request it from me. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. It'll be available to you. And as a matter of fact, if you want, Mr. Google has a bunch of balance sheets and a lot of financial forms that are available.
So are you speaking on inventory right now?
I'm sorry?
Are you speaking of inventory right now?
Not necessarily for inventory, but in terms of well, yeah, I guess in terms of the balance sheet, every accountant in America has that's the first thing they start with their clients is what is your net worth, and that's determined by your balance sheet. They'll give you a form to fill out, and I'll bet that the Plant Moran and all of those other big forms may have, and I haven't looked, but they may have those forms available for you to download right off of the website.
Okay, point taken that you need to have a financial inventory, everything of value. So
and debts. Don't forget to your debts. You've got obligations, and because what the bottom line is going to be, you take what you have, your possessions, you subtract the debts, and that determines your net worth.
Now, why do we need to know what our net worth is?
Well, first of all, I think that in most situations, it says your situation is not as bad as it looks. So that, you may say, I only have $20 in the bank, but yeah, I've got $250,000 in my retirement account. I've got $100,000 net worth in my house. I've got 2 cars that are paid for. I've got a cottage, or, there are other assets that you have. And, just as an aside, if you're really in a panic situation, sometimes you may say, hey, I may want to sell or liquidate one of those assets so that I have some cash in my bank account that I can work with. So
even if you don't have a lot paid off, at least if you can look at it in front of you and see that inventory, so I may be doing a little better than I thought. Maybe my car is not paid off. Maybe I have no retirement fund, but at least you can look at it, and that's empowering just to see, okay, this is what I have.
95% of the people that I deal with are afraid to do this because they think that they are in deep, yeah, they're in that deep stuff. If they really take a look at it, it generally is not as bad as it is. And even when you know what your situation is, psychologically, you have a better state of mind rather than fearing the unknown of saying, oh, I own millions of dollars and the tax man's going to get me in the mortgage company. If you have that out in front of you, you know exactly what your position is. And, 90% of the worries and anxiety go away.
Yeah, I think that's noteworthy, just to have it in front of you, to take an honest look at it. And then you can develop a plan on how to improve it. So I love that.
I'm afraid you're going to cut me off, Kathy, so I need to move on a little bit. And that would be when to file your taxes. This is kind of a simple one. It's straightforward, but we forget about it a little bit. When we procrastinate, we don't want to attack the problem or so on. But I would suggest to you, do kind of a draft of your taxes. So if you find out that you are getting money back from the government, if there's whether it's state, local, or so on, if you're getting money back, file immediately. Don't let them have the use of your money for January, February, March, April, or half of April, or so on. File today. Now, on the other hand, if you see and you do sort of this draft of your tax return, you see that you owe them money, then wait till the last minute. Electronically, you can file on 11/59 on the 15th and still be legal. I wouldn't suggest it, but I would say, technically you still are legal and filing at the last time. And like I say, if you do it electronically, you don't have to go down to the post office, wait in line at midnight to file the thing. The other thing is, if you find that you owe them money and you've prepared your taxes in advance, then you can get the money. You may have you may want to save some money in the 3 months that you have until they're due. For sure, what you don't want to do is you don't want to borrow money to pay your taxes.
Mm-mm. For sure, for sure.
So go ahead.
No, I was just going to jump down to the next.
Okay, gather all your documents. This is not only a tax thing, but it's a general financial discipline that we have to undertake. Gather them all in one place, whether it's a shopping bag, whatever it is, but start gathering them and gather today. Start gathering today. Every time you look at your desk, every time you do something, say, this is an important document. Got to put this in my legacy box or into my important document bag or into my file drawer. And I would suggest one of the important documents, and this will help you in terms of tax preparation, what is your last year's tax return? The filing of your tax return. And that's a good place, when you're going to start for your tax returns, but that would be a good place to start. Look at your income for this year. What are the documents? Your W-2s, your 1099s, and look at the income. And then the other thing, the inventory of documents is take a look at the insurance documents that you have, and then go back to that physical inventory, that financial inventory, to make sure that you have insurance for all of those items that you own, the car, the house, the recreational vehicles, and so on. So that's important. And make sure you have your liability insurance, your disability insurance, your health insurance, your life insurance. And as an aside, we do a term life insurance. The other ones, it is written in second hesitations, thou shalt not, or thou shalt only buy term life insurance. The rest of it is a ripoff if you take a look at it. All right, take a look at also the balance sheet and those documents and the inventory that I had talked about. Those might be necessary for the friend of the court to establish child support, spousal support, or so on. So it's more than just insurance, not more than, it's you should have those ready when you need them. And that's perhaps a motivating factor is don't wait until you need them and then scramble through the house to try and find them, because you'll never find them all. If you got to be at court at 9 o'clock in the morning. And by the way, Kathy's got a little a manual or something that tells you how to get ready. Get that sucker, get that thing, and that will tell you how to get ready for that. But start on that now. That could be one first bite of the of the elephant that you have. And then the final thing I have about gathering the important documents is back up your findings, back up your documents, and could be done easily. It's called a scanner and a thumb drive, or a backup, a hard drive, so that you have not only the physical documents in your legacy box, but if your house, burns or there's a calamity and we have a tornado or so on, you can't find those documents. Or if your spouse does some mischief with those documents, you have them in the house, you're doing the divorce. I've seen that happen where documents disappear. If you have the electronic backups, you can always reproduce them. And in Michigan and in the federal courts, electronic copies have the same probative value as the original copies, unless somebody alleges, what can I say, forgery or something, but that's very difficult to prove. So the fifth item that I have is get help. Okay. We've given you what can I say, a dumpster full of information this evening, or I think I have, and it's a little bit difficult to comprehend all of that. So take it again, slow and easy, one step at a time, and think about areas where you need. And when I say get help and learn what you don't just give your tax return to the tax preparer. Go to the tax preparer, go through with him, her, to find out how you are doing how the tax is being prepared, so you don't have to go back to them next year, so that you can have to build a little bit of confidence. Same thing with your investments. If you have some investments, your investment counselor, don't just tell them, invest my money for me. Explain to me where it's going, how it's going to what, and explain to them what your end game is, what your goal is with your investments, and make sure that you have that conversation. So learn the tax return, learn the investment, learn the insurance.
But you have to learn it all at once.
No, you don't have to learn it all at once. It would be bite at a time, bite at a time. It would be great. You need to know it all at once, but like anything else, whether it's calculus or it's physics, you start with some of the basics, and then you take the second course and the third course and the fourth course, and so on. Real estate. And for sure, Kathy, nobody can be an expert in everything. So regardless, the richest people have consultants that deal with their taxes, with their investments, and so on. So don't be afraid to utilize an advisor to help you on these situations. But when you go to the advisor, don't let them just do it. Do it and learn. You learn how to do that.
Let me just throw in one of your quotes, Peter, which is, bad news does not get better with time. So it really is important that you are learning this bit by bit, take in what you can, so there aren't surprises for you.
Absolutely. And when I say about learning and taking this stuff in, not doing it by yourself, there are lots of helps out there. And, you know, if you're a little hesitant on the computer and don't like to search the internet for frequently asked questions or backup, you know, that type of thing, there are lots of groups. Kathy mentioned that we teach the Ramsey's Financial Peace group. It's popular. It covers some of the real basic things, and it's well worth your time. But Ramsey's not the only one that has the group. Susie Orman has a session. She has books and tapes and so on. But your bank, your credit union also has some information about budgeting and so and that's free.
Yeah.
So take a look, see what your bank, credit union, financial institution, and your advisor and your insurance company, what information do they have free for you? I like the word free. It's, you know, it's really good. Also, check with your church. You know, the local church that I attend, that's where we run the Dave Ramsey course, and the powers to be in the church said, this is a significant mission of the church to help people in their financial
need
situation. And it's not only the people who are broke and people who are in debt, it's people who are, you know, want to hold on to what they have or to do better with what they have. So utilize those resources that are available. And now, if there are, I've given you too much. You know, I've fed you with the proverbial fire hose. And if there's some questions, I'd be happy, Kathy, if it's appropriate, I'd be happy to respond to those.
Absolutely.
And before you cut me off and leave me again, is even today, if you don't think about it, but at some future time, if you're at a dead end, don't know where to go in terms of help on these issues, financial or otherwise, Kathy's got all sorts of contact information on her website, right here on the program. Reach out for help. Don't do it alone. Get some help. And, you know, if Kathy can't give you the help directly, she certainly, and she's done that to me on numerous occasions. She says, can you please help out this person there in Deep Doo-Doo? And of course, what can I say?
Oh,
Thank you, Kathy, for giving me a chance to speak to your group tonight.
Oh, goodness. It's been wonderful. And yes, as always, is 5 10 pounds of information in a 5-pound bag. It's a whole lot. But again, as you get little bits and pieces and you start getting exposed to it, I put up this scripture verse that I know that you refer to in your classes, and it speaks with great wisdom. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is the slave to the lender. We don't want you slaves. God doesn't want you slaves. He wants you to have that freedom so that you can live without being worried about someone having to come and take your home away or something of that sort. So we want you to be not a slave to anyone. So
that's one end of the scale. At the other end of the scale is when you no longer are a slave to the lender, when you are out of debt and you have some resources. Just think about the good that you can do with the extra money that you have.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean building a hospital or building a research facility. It just might be buying a meal for somebody who needs it.
Yeah, true enough. True enough. Great information. Questions, comments. UPS Stephanie gets, yeah, you know what's coming in the mailbox. So if your check's coming from the tax return, you would know that. I've got a few requests here from folks wanting the sheet. I also see a friendly face out there watching. So hello to my son and his beautiful wife. So appreciate you being out there. Along with the rest of you with those requests, I will message those over to you. So last minute wrap up. I know we went long. This is such a deep topic. We could have spent a half an hour on all 5 of those points easily. So thank you, Peter, for your time, your expertise, your information, and your generosity with the past half hour that you have spent with us. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I encourage all of you folks not to just take in the information. Now go out and do something. Maybe not everything, but go and do something with that information.
I love it. Great words. Great words. And with that, we'll see you next Friday night, Facebook Live. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. So if you have a topic that you would love to hear discussed, maybe it's financial, maybe we go in depth with more finances or emotional or spiritual, talk to me. Let me know what direction you would like for these Facebook Lives to go. Appreciate those who have joined us, who make comments, request the sheets, and this is great conversation. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Facebook Live, Divorce Support Anonymous. Good night, Peter, and thank you.
You're welcome.